up everyone, it's Theory922 and welcome back to another Pokemon video. The Z legendary of Pokemon XY has been leaked, and I've been trying to figure out everything behind the XYZ legends. I've been able to come up with an interesting theory, so let's get to it. We've all heard of the Norse mythology that these Pokemon are based off of, but nobody knows the actual truth and story behind them. While most people say the three Pokemon are actually the three beasts surrounding the Yggdrasil, also known as the Tree of the World, there have been a couple other thoughts and findings that may add up to the story of their existence. I find this interesting myself, as it may not be the full story. If you were to look in further in pursuit of information surrounding these Pokemon, you'd have to look deeper in Norse mythology and Celtic studies. Each of the three legendaries get their creation from unique name mixes, but also off of the form they assume. Take Xerneas for example. We all know Xerneas as a deer with holographic horns and assume he's a forest Pokemon and must have something to do with that. According to the myth, his name actually comes from the Nordic myth creature called Cernunnos. Cernunnos is known to be a giant who takes the form of a human with antlers or sometimes a stag, so it's safe to say we're looking at a similar match. Moving further, according to the myth, this godlike creature is portrayed with animals because of its fragrant association with creatures. Thanks to this, in legends, people often describe this creature as the Lord of the Animals and depict him as a peaceful god of nature. Now, let's look at the two. You got Xerneas and Cernunnos. Antlers, stag, and Lord of the Animals. Either I'm onto something or Bambi's all grown up and Disney don't want him no more. Jokes aside, he is still the Pokemon of creation in the game as well as his mythical counterpart. Moving forward, we now turn to Yveltal. His appearance resembles a Lugia's design with Groudon's color scheme, but because it's a flying and dark type, we can't take him as a dragon. So is he a bird? In typical Nordic folk talk, we assume he's the bird at the top of the tree, but he too has his own counterpart, who's talked about in the Norse mythology. In this case, his name is Hrasvelgr. This creature is a giant creature known to take the form of an eagle while it sits at the end of the world at the north edge of the heavens. He's also called a corpse swallower, suggesting he's the creature of destruction and depicts the end of life. We know for sure that Yveltal is the maker of destruction, as sources have given him that description. There's not much resemblance other than the root Vel found in both names, but the mythical creature and its role in mythology definitely seems to match up with our Apom on steroids. Finally, we move on to the recently leaked and released new Pokemon, Zygarde, also known as the Z Pokemon. He definitely has a cool name and makes him sound ancient and of value, but his actual name in Norse mythology is way off. In Celtic studies and Norse folk talk, he's known as Jormungandr. For pronunciation's sake, we'll call him by his other alias, the Midgard Serpent. The Midgard Serpent in folk legend is a sea serpent born as a child to a giantess and the god Loki. According to the legend, he's a long serpent who grew to stretch around the world far enough to grasp its own tail. He ended up representing balance in the world because if he were to let go of his tail, the world would basically lose balance and be done for. Another cool fact is the root of its name, Midgard, meaning Middle Earth, and was given because of the serpent's place in the world's balance. This makes definite sense for our Pokemon counterpart, Zygarde. In its leaked Pokedex descriptions, he's referred to as the guardian lurking beneath the surface, overviewing the ecosystem and the actions of living things. In comparison to his myth counterpart, he's just longer. That's all, name and body. In the end, Xerneas is the Pokemon of birth, ensuring the creation of new Pokemon, and Yveltal is the Pokemon of death, ensuring the death and destruction of Pokemon. Zygarde, watching from below the earth, ensures that these two are equal and balance is kept in the region. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this theory video. Be sure to leave your opinions on the video in the comments below and don't forget to leave a like. Also, which is your favorite of the XYZ legends?